Okay, budgeting. Where's the money coming from? We got ticket sales, sponsorship, grants, merchandising, advertising, concessions. Concessions are interesting, which is the licensing of catering, stands and porridge. Porridge is the beer that you sell or the drink that you sell at a festival. So if you go to Carling, which is apparently probably the best lager in the world, and I have actually been to Carling to ask them, they'll say how many people, because they want to work out how many pints you're going to sell and how much porridge that is, and then they might offer you an amount of money to be the exclusive beer provider of your festival. And when people talk to you about porridge, that's what it means. It's the beer at your event. Might be some other kind of drink, but usually porridge is associated with beer. You might charge the catering stands about £1,000 each, maybe 10% of what they take. They might take a couple of grand, 3 grand. Maybe they give you 300 quid. You might do it against a percentage of income, or you might just do it as a flat fee. Sponsorship, if you're going to ask for sponsorship, you have to show, you have to offer something. And that might be branding, Bath City College logo on something. It might be that you call it the Carling Festival of Music, or Carling Punk Festival, or the Holston Folk Festival, or something like that. Grants, you might go to the council and say, I'm going to do something fantastic for your community, in which case you might need to put on young bands, community bands, emerging bands, because if the council give you money, that's the sort of thing they're going to want to see. So you might go to the council and ask for a grant, and they'll get you to fill in a big, big form that's like 1,000,000 pages thick, and you have to say all the things you're going to do for a very little bit of money. But you never know, you might get more money, they might have an idea, and you might just fill that idea. Merchandising, depends what relationship you have with the merchandising, people who control the merchandising, but it might be about 10%, 10, 15%. So at a small gig, that doesn't mean much. But if you're at a big rock concert and the artist sells T-shirts that are 30 quid and they sell 10,000 T-shirts, well, you can do the maths, it's a lot of money. But most of the time, it's not that much money. Ticket sales. Ticket sales, they're going to be affected by your program, the size of the artist. You know, it's all very well putting on a brilliant band that you really like, but if no one's heard of them, it's not going to do much for your ticket sales. So there's all those considerations to think about when budgeting in your income. Expenditure, artist fees. You will need to take into consideration things like VAT and foreign entertainers, tax. So it depends where they're coming from in the world as to the tax you have to pay. So your actual cost might be a lot more than 20,000. So artist fees, venue hire, or wherever you're hiring, can be a field, it could be a Bath Rugby Club, it could be the race course, could be a school hall, whatever. Tech and backline, PA, lights, security, travel, accommodation, catering, marketing and PR. I mean, there's so many costs to think about when you're planning a festival. Fundraising, sponsorship, local businesses, national corporations, blue chip. So, for example, if you're going to put on a gig in Bath, you might know somebody who's prepared to give you a bit of money, or your parents might know someone and they might give you some money. And that, everything is just an extension of that. It doesn't change. If the higher up you go, the further up you go, you need to know someone who's prepared to give you money. And actually, it's all about contacts and connections and meeting people and networking and doing your best to be nice to people that might help you later down the line. So sponsorship, never be rude to anyone who has loads of money in your town, because you might be asking them for some of that money later on. So national corporations, well, there is a point at which you might grow what you do to a point where you think it's got something unique and that you could approach a McDonald's or a Pepsi or whatever, international. It says national, but it could be international. I have run a number of festivals with what I would call blue chip sponsorship. Having said that, they might not actually give you money. They might give you something else that will help you to run your event. They could give you an artist, for example. So if you went to an instrument company like Marshall and said, I've got a big festival and I need Slash, they might say, well, we'll give you Slash because he endorses us and it's part of a big promotion for Marshall. So we'll give him to you. You have to pay the expenses or something. So that might be something else that they give you. They might sponsor you with a media partnership or something like that. They might give you advertising. So you might get sponsorship in kind, we call this, that is as good as money. And actually you would bring that into the budget and it would be shown in the budget as well. Public funding, there's Lottery, Arts Council, England, Youth Music, Local Council, European money. There's lots of places to look for money to fund the things you do. Now, it used to be the case that in the old days, Arts Council England didn't fund popular music or didn't fund music that you would think of as commercial or heavily commercial. But now they do. They will sponsor pop music, rock music, world music, all kinds of things. European money, there is European money out there. If you're going to book a band, like a Norwegian jazz band, the Scandinavians put loads of money into developing their jazz culture there, and lots of those bands are funded to come to Europe. So you might get a free jazz band for your festival, for example, and that might happen with other styles of music. It might happen with dance, it might be part of some kind of project, new music, some kind of, some types of music also have other types of art attached to them. So it might be that you've got some visual art with that and somebody's paying for the visual art, so you get a DJ or whatever it is. Trusts, a lot of private trusts. So, Paul Hamlin is a publisher, and Northern Rock was a bank, and what they did was they made loads of money, put it in a trust, and that trust pays out money, and you apply for that money, and you can get funding for your gigs, festivals. So I've had money from all of those there. Directory of Social Change is where you find out about trusts. So support in kind, that's what I've just talked about as well. Media support, we're working with Heart FM and they've offered some kind of media support. I'll be buying advertising, but they'll give added value and they'll give some on-time on-air coverage. I've had a media partnership with Future Publishing for a long time, where they give us ads in the guitar magazines, drum magazines, in the tech magazines, Future Music, Computer Music, and that's helped us grow, it's helped our profile, it's helped us sell tickets. So we've had fantastic support from Future Publishing. Okay, who's involved? The roles and responsibilities, support staff and agencies, jobs basically. Tech team, has anyone worked on a tech team? Set up a PA? Sound and lighting, they're all part of the tech. Sound engineer, lighting engineers, tape ops, lighting ops, spot ops, there's all kinds of jobs there. When we do a big outdoor event, the tech team usually comes with about 20 people, and that's to set up the stage, and all kinds of things connected with the tech. Okay, bookers, they are the intelligence of the agencies. So there are lots of agencies like Metropolis that basically sign up the artists and arrange their tours. They're not the managers, they basically arrange tours. They're tour agencies. The booker usually works for the tour agencies or might work for a festival. And their job is to find people, find the best artists they can for those festivals. It's a really interesting job. Advancers, they basically advance the show. So when you know a show's going to happen, when it's booked and the contract's signed, all the detail to make it happen, so to make sure that the rider is fulfilled, the lighting's going to be right, the sound's going to be right, the artist has in their dressing room what they've asked for. Artist liaison is somebody who just looks after the artist, makes sure they got everything they want. Tour manager does what it says, is the person that tours the artist. They are really the artist's right-hand person and represents the artist and fights for the artist. I've got some very good friends that are tour managers and they basically live on the road with the artist doing everything for them. I mean, literally everything, where they're going to sleep, when they're going to eat, who they're going to phone, what they're going to wear. I mean, just everything. They sort out everything. It's a nightmare job. You've got to be so super organised beyond anything you've ever could imagine in your life. Those people are on call 24/7. Box office. Somebody's got to sell the tickets. And actually, if you want to know whether a concert's going to sell or not, ask the lady that runs the box office, because they normally know, because they've normally seen it before. So if you're thinking about booking an artist, it's worth doing your homework. Box office, front of house, FOH, front of house, will be the person that is controlling the front of house before a gig. So they might be there checking the stewards are doing what they're supposed to be doing, that box office is functioning, that merchandise is selling properly and up and running, that the flow of people into the building or the flow of people into a field. Front of house is the person that makes sure the lights are on and that it's all happening. Stage manager, person behind the stage who's checking that the artist is going to get on that stage and that the front of house are going to tell everyone to sit down and shut the doors and it's all going to happen. So front of house, stage manager, box office and stewards are all linked in one seamless group. Agencies, there are, if you're doing your event management plan, you're going to need to talk to the police, ambulance, fire service. You're going to need ambulances there basically in case somebody gets ill. If not, then you could be in serious trouble. If you're going to have pyrotechnics or something, or some kind of, you might even have a generator there because there's not enough power in the building. All those reasons you might need to talk to the fire advisors, fire brigade, police. If you're running a big festival, you've got to talk to the police, absolutely. And the earlier you talk to these people, these agencies, the more helpful, the more on side they are. Health and safety, you need to talk to the council. I mean, some of these people can be really difficult and they're not actually there to stop you. They just want to know what could go wrong. And if you've thought about everything that could go wrong as much as possible, then you're going to be okay. And you show them you've thought about those issues, then you're going to get the respect that allows you to do the gig.